Hi, it's Chris here, and in this video we're going to go through the best bread maker machines out there today. I've narrowed this list down to my absolute favorite 5, so no matter what you're looking for, there'll definitely be something on this list for you. So before we jump in, drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be updated with new videos. Alright, as usual, I'm going to skip all the fluff and just jump right in. If you want to confirm my recommendations, go in the description and check out that list to ensure you get the best price. Alright, so the first one on the list is going to go to my personal favorites. This is the Zojirushi Home Bakery Virtuoso Plus Bread Maker. So if you want a bread machine that doesn't just slap some dough together like a medieval peasant, but actually makes a loaf worthy of human consumption, enter this one, a bread maker so advanced, it's basically a personal baker trapped inside a stainless steel box. And yes, it's big. If kitchen appliances were animals, this would be maybe a Great Dane, loyal, powerful, and taking up way too much space. But hey, sometimes greatness needs a little extra room. Key features: a dual paddle design because one paddle is for amateurs. This bad boy stirs that dough like it's auditioning for Top Chef, giving you a perfectly even crumb every single time. No weird half-mixed flour pockets here. Horizontal chamber for classic loaf shape. Unlike those sad vertical bread makers that spit out loaves shaped like mutant skyscrapers, this one gives you a proper sandwich-worthy hunk of bread. 15 settings because normal people apparently bake gluten-free, salt-free, and even cake in a bread machine. Oh, and it can make jam too, in case you ever feel like bottling your regrets into a fruit-based spread. Non-stick baking pan. You could clean it easily or just tell yourself that burnt crust adds flavor and leave it dirty for eternity. Your call. 700 watts of power. This thing does work harder than a single dad with 2 jobs and a caffeine addiction. So who's it for? Well, if you're serious about bread or just lazy enough to want a machine that does all the work while you stand there pretending to be a culinary genius, this is your machine. Ideal for people who want consistent bakery quality loaves but aren't afraid to sacrifice a chunk of their kitchen real estate. If you've got a tiny apartment, just go ahead and make peace with storing it in your bathroom closet next to the towels. The next one is my recommendation for the best value. It's the Amazon Basics non-stick bread making machine. So the bread maker for people who want homemade bread but also want to spend their money on literally anything else. This little guy is like the economy class of bread makers. It won't give you luxury, but it gets the job done. Yes, some of the timers are about as accurate as a weather forecast in 2050, but hey, when has Amazon Basics ever meant perfection? You are here for value, and for the price of a fancy dinner, you get a machine that can whip up a loaf, a cake, jam, and even yogurt. Because when I think bread machine, my first thought is definitely dairy fermentation. Key features: 14 settings including gluten-free, whole wheat, and quick breads. Basically, it's got more presets than your grandma's radio, and half of them will probably never be used, let's face it. Customizable crust darkness as well, because some people like their bread the color of a tan billionaire, while others want it looking like it's been through a house fire. Small 1.5 loaf option as well. Great if you don't want to commit to a full size, or if you live alone and don't want to admit you can eat an entire loaf in one sitting. Vertical design for easy storage as well. Unlike those massive counter-hogging machines, this one fits neatly into cabinets or that one drawer where you keep random gadgets you swore you'd use. Doubles as a yogurt maker as well, as I mentioned, because nothing says bread machine like a rogue dairy experiment happening in your kitchen. So who's it for? Well, perfect for beginners, cheapskates, and people who don't mind occasionally poking their bread with a stick to see if it's done. If you want a functional bread maker that won't make your wallet cry, this is the one. Just don't trust the timers like you trust your mum's cooking advice. Set your own and keep an eye on it unless you like surprises. The next one is my recommendation for the best quick bread option. It's the Cuisinart Compact Automatic Bread Maker. So ever wanted to make banana bread so good it could start a cult? Well, this one is here to bless your kitchen with the moistest, densest, banana-iest loaf you've ever tasted. This machine is so good at making quick breads that it should come with a caution may ruin store-bought bread forever warning. That being said, if you were hoping to master sourdough, prepare for disappointment. It treats sourdough the way a divorced dad treats his kids, with uneven attention and a slightly burned bottom. Key features: 12 pre-programmed settings, including an ultra-fast mode for when you want bread but have the patience of a toddler, and a setting for pre-packaged mixers because nothing says homemade like something that came from a box. 3 loaf sizes, 1, 1.5 and 2 pounds. So whether you're feeding yourself, your family, or a ravenous pack of carb-loving wolves, you do have options. 13-hour delay timer and keep warm function as well. Perfect for those nights when you're lying in bed thinking, you know what this moment needs? A strategic bread plan. 3 crossed color options as well, whether you want your bread looking pale, golden, or like it's seen some shit in the oven. You can customize your crust darkness. Compact and lightweight, unlike some bread machines that take up more space than your fridge, this one actually respects your counter real estate. So who's it for? Well, if you live for quick breads, banana loaves, and waking up to the smell of sweet, sweet carbs, this is your machine. Just don't ask it to do sourdough. If you're serious about artisan bread, look elsewhere. This thing will treat your sourdough like a Tinder date it lost interest in halfway through. The next one is my recommendation for the best versatility. It's the Breville Custom Loaf Bread Maker. So if this bread maker were a human being, it'd be that one overachiever in school who took 5 AP classes, captained the debate team, and still had time to run a charity. This bread maker just does everything. Whole wheat loaves, done. Pizza dough, easy. Pasta dough? Why not? It even adds mix-ins automatically so you don't have to hover over it like a nervous parent at a school play. This machine is so intuitive, it basically makes bread by reading your mind. Unfortunately, it's also got the baking instincts of a half-drunk intern because it browns loaves about as evenly as a spray tan in a windstorm at times. Key features: 14 settings for everything from crusty loaves to pizza and pasta dough. If you can dream it, this thing will knead it into existence. Mix-in dispenser for nuts, fruit, and other add-ins. No more standing by the machine like a helicopter parent waiting for the right moment to dump in your raisins. And bright display screen with a progress indicator for those of us who need constant reassurance that yes, the bread is still happening. Insanely detailed manual as well with 100 plus recipes because Breville knows some of you will get this machine and have no idea what you're doing. 4 loaf sizes as well, 1, 1.5, 2, and 2.5 pounds. Great if you want a tiny snack bread or a carb brick large enough to be considered a weapon. So who's it for? Well, if you want total control over every aspect of your bread making experience and love a good user manual that reads like War and Peace, this is your dream machine. It's ideal for bread nerds, control freaks, and people who want their appliances to do more thinking than they do. Just don't expect perfect browning. This thing cooks like it has commitment issues at times. The next one is my recommendation for the best compact option. It's the Zojirushi Home Bakery Mini Bread Maker. So the Home Bakery Mini, or as I like to call it, the small but mighty bread box. This thing is so compact it could probably fit in your backpack, which is great if you ever feel like whipping up a fresh loaf on the go. Not recommended, but hey, live your dreams. Unlike some of its bigger counter-hogging siblings, this one is tiny, efficient, and still manages to bake bread better than your grandma ever did. Sorry, Nan, it's true. Key features: compact size, great for small kitchens, dorms, or people who have already sacrificed every square inch of counter space to an air fryer. 1 pound loaf capacity, perfect if you want fresh bread but not a commitment. This machine is basically the casual dating of bread makers. 8 settings, including cake and cross control, because sometimes you wake up and decide, screw bread today, I'm making cake instead. Even ingredient distribution as well. This thing blends better than your friend who suddenly changes accents when they visit another country. And not the easiest to clean. Flour may end up scattered inside, causing some light smoking, which is cool if you enjoy unexpected kitchen drama, I guess. So who's it for? Well, if you have limited space, a mild bread addiction, and a deep-seated hatred for store-bought loaves, this is your machine. It's ideal for small households, minimalist bakers, and people who want fresh bread without the commitment of eating their way through a loaf the size of a small child. Just be prepared to wipe up some rogue flour, unless you want your kitchen to smell like a burnt offering. Alright, so those are my recommendations. Hopefully there's something on that list for you, but if you have any questions, drop them down below. And if you found value in this video, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.